Well, look at that, it's the first video of 2024 on the second channel. Hooray! And yes, we're starting off with something completely random. Now, I do have the DSi XL video in the pipeline that is still coming. I promise I'm gonna work on it when I can, okay? But anyways, let's just start off with something easy just to ease into the new 2024 content for the second channel, hoping to make more, but anyways, enough blabbering about it. What's in this box? Well, it's a box. I'm pretty sure you can tell. And in that box, there's a whole bunch of garbage. Nah, it's actually not a whole bunch of garbage. It's just a whole bunch of handheld consoles in here that I have. This actual box actually was just recently purchased yesterday. So yes, it houses a whole bunch of consoles that is also likely to be destroyed. Anyways, there's no particular order that I'm gonna go in on these consoles, so I'm just gonna pick a console and just briefly talk about it. So here is the 2011 3DS. You can even see me. Hello. Yes, this is the 2011 3DS. You can tell because just by looking at some of the things that it has, like the stylus being the exact placement as the original DS back there. The reason why I got a 3DS is because, well, one, I did actually want this console, but two, also because of this color. I did actually have this 3DS before. It was in the Cosmos Black, so that means both the top, the screen, and when it's closed is all black, but colors like this only has the top screen black for whatever reason. I guess it's due to the 3D effect, maybe? I don't know. They could have theoretically have made it blue on the top screen, but hey, what can I say? And yeah, this was fairly purchased, recently. The condition of this console, if you can probably tell in certain light, it definitely has some scratches. The camera probably doesn't do this console justice. It's a fingerprint magnet as hell, as you can probably also tell. I try to tend to keep my consoles clean, but most of the time I'm just a lazy mofo. It does the job for what it needed to do in 2011, and obviously because this console came out in 2011, it missed certain features, but obviously, as you know, it would have all the features later on, like the eShop and the digital downloads. This has been updated to the latest version as it could possibly go up to. Plan to homebrew this at some point, and yeah. Happy I got this. The next one is, surprisingly, the new 3DS. This is another console that I have in my collection. The reason why I wanted this console specifically is because, well, of course, want to homebrew it again because it is just like that 3DS. I'm gonna homebrew it, but also because, you know, maybe at some point I will change the plates to be a lot more cooler. But right now I've just kept it pretty much factory default with the plates here. That's the only reason what made the 3DS, like this new 3DS, unique from the XL or any of the other models right there, is the replaceable faceplates. Now, obviously, there are some very weird choices. For example, like the cartridge slot being there, whereas on the original was like at the top, where it was like, it made the most sense. So anytime you were playing, you had a good chance of knocking the game cartridge out of it. But kind of weird, but I did make a video about the certain weird design quirks of the system, and yeah, you can check it up in that card right there if it pops up there, and if I also remember to even put it in. But yes, that is the new 3DS. Also because the new 3DS is slightly bigger than the original old 3DS by a margin, and also because this was also the one that introduces the this C stick, or the nipple stick as it's seems like people like to call it, and also 2 additional buttons. Here is the new 2DS XL. This is actually the console that I use, and this was the first console I picked up aside from that one, because that one is my childhood system, which I'll talk about in a bit. This one has been homebrewed, and it's pretty much got all my games, and this is also what I, mainly use to play those games, because this is also homebrewed. You might notice a theme with any consoles I get, I tend to homebrew them. And then because, Nintendo is not supporting them anymore, so why not? It's got a case on it, so it's being protected. If I had this off, you would feel like, this texture. It came out in 2017, so around the same year as the Nintendo Switch. This was like the last ditch effort from Nintendo to try and keep this console a bit relevant, but this console also had the shortest lifespan of 2017 to 2020, as that's when the entire 3DS lineup got discontinued. I like this console. The one interesting thing they did with the new 3DS is they added this flap. Now this is like a much bigger flap, but this was probably just to be more in line with the Nintendo Switch. And yes, the stylus is missing. I did have the stylus at one point. For whatever reason, it is gone. But yeah, it was still small. It's not like I need it anyways, but I think it makes it look nice with the entire system. Here we have the old 3DS XL. Now I'm planning to get the new one, hence why I don't have it, and you can probably see just right here. This is actually my childhood console, so everything still works relatively so, like you can see right here. The obvious thing is this one is sticky for some reason, like it just won't budge. I have to push it back up in order for it to just stop budging again. You can tell it also had a case on it, because just look at it. But it will do for now. I mean, it still works, so what can I say? The original Nintendo DSi, this console was seen as, I guess, in a way, an upgrade. I mean, this was where the charge port that was standardized across all these other consoles here made its debut, and it also had a full-fledged main menu with an SD card, the cameras on here and on the outside with the 3 lights. This is the light blue color, and I've obviously got Mario Kart. Come on, camera, focus. Okay, I guess you don't want to focus. But this is the light blue color. There is also a darker blue, which is, I guess, more akin to the XL model, but the light blue looks cool. And plus, blue is my favorite color anyways. And that was the DSi. The DS Lite. This also has a case on it. This is probably the console when most people think Nintendo DS. Like, it's sleek, it's compact, it's got a GBA slot that has this protective flat cover thing. I don't know what you call it. The stylus placement was in a much better place than the original, and yeah, the screen also was brighter, and yeah, it was just more portable. It was essentially just taking the original DS and just making it so much better with more brightness, and just overall a much better console than the original DS. And obviously the DSi would take its place and be even more better. To this day, there's still many people that will still say, oh yeah, I have a DS, and they'll likely be this console, and that's the DS Lite. The PSP, the direct competitor to the Nintendo DS. Essentially, this was a PS2 Lite portable, PS2 portable in a way. I mean, the quality of the games were pretty much PS2-like, but you had the XMB, which was from the Japanese-only PSX, and then found its way to the PS3 and PSP, but it didn't really end up getting used that much on later Sony consoles. I didn't really like the design. The only thing is, as well, with the PSP is the screen refresh rate is slightly behind. But there have been mods for this system where they replaced the not so great LCD with a more better LCD panel, and I do want to try and do that at some point, but I need to figure out how to do that because I have no experience in replacing screens, so I probably might have to look into maybe how to do that. But the PSP was also the one that introduces UMDs, or the Universal Media Discs. Obviously, it didn't live up to the hope that Sony wanted it to be, like, you know, crushing the Nintendo DS. But for what it needed to do at the time, it was incredibly great. Like, bringing, like, real quality games to the portable is just like, that's just like so unheard of. Usually you would have like watered down, but like here it is, PSP with PS2 quality like games. The Nintendo 2DS. Now this is a console I did also have as well. This was when it was announced to be like some sort of like April Fool's joke, but honestly, even if it was originally April Fool's joke, it was a very good April Fool's joke, because like just holding it with just one of my hands is just so incredibly good. It's like so much better than if you were to just hold it just like down here. Like the buttons are literally down here on the bottom. That applies to every other one. This one, not so much, and this was obviously, you know, being marketed towards a much younger audience, and it really shows, because like the lack of 3D, the lack of clamshell, and the build is really good. The only thing about this is it only plays music and sounds in mono because of the one speaker there. But honestly, you know, you can plug your headphones in, so you can get your stereo back. I really do like this design. It's really awesome. Let's talk about the original Nintendo DS. Yeah, this is a big one. It's a big chunky one. It's thick, but this was pretty much good enough for what it needed to do in 2004 or 2005, depending on where you are in the world. Obviously, this is the blue color. This has the Nintendo logo, whereas the DS Lite would have the like DS logo there. The one thing I think I like more about the original Nintendo DS over the DS Lite is the Game Boy Advance cartridge slot actually sits flush in the system. So when you are playing Game Boy Advance games, and only Game Boy Advance games, no Game Boy Color or any of the original Game Boy games fit in this, only Game Boy Advance, it sits flush, which the DS Lite has a bit of the Game Boy Advance cartridge sticking out a bit, making it not quite comfortable for gameplay. But for gameplay of Game Boy Advance games, I definitely think it's worth looking at. This obviously has like that wrist strap thing as well. And yeah, this is also where we still use the Game Boy Advance SP charger. You could say that some of the design is borrowed from that console, both the original Game Boy Advance and SP in essence, and the stylus placement is, you know, where it was practically be like if you were trying to search for it, like open it up there. So that's why the DS Lite was much better. There's your DS slot, you know, for your DS games. And yeah, that's the Nintendo DS. DSi XL, essentially take the original DSi and just make it bigger. This is the midnight blue color. There we are. Bigger screens as well. Pretty much plays everything DSi and regular DS games, but, you know, bigger screen. And there's really much nothing to really say about this console, as I've practically gone over it with the original Nintendo DSi, except for the fact that it is also a bit of a fingerprint magnet. This was released in 2009 or 2010, depending on where you are in the world. Last but not least is a recent Christmas present I got, and that is the PS Vita. This was a massive improvement over the PSP, like dual analog sticks, you know, a more better experience. Like, you've got cameras as well. Like, you've got a camera right there next to the buttons, and then a camera right there. This also has like that touch surface as well, where certain games would utilize that. So that's pretty cool. This is also where we did go from discs to cartridges, and this was also when Sony was still being stingy and not offering micro SD card support. They wanted you to buy their own proprietary memory card, but there's been adapters that have been essentially allowing you to use micro SD cards, and you can put it in this like memory card adapter. This is the 1000 model, so this has a OLED screen and also this charger. This is also the Japanese version, but luckily you can put this in English because, well, it's region free, the console. I mean, I have 2 PAL games that work with this, and it does the job. It really does the job. And that was the PS Vita. And that is a whole bunch of consoles that I talked about and explained to you. And yeah, that's what's in this box. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe for more second channel content right in your faces. Click right here for whatever the previous video was. Subscribe if you want to. And obviously, if you want to check out the iCard for any more videos, you can. Here's how many aren't subscribed to the second channel, which is, well, you know, there. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.